really my heart just dropped. I couldn't believe it because I know the pain that goes through, and I was just devastated to hear that for them. Really not a nice feeling for them now.
A lot has been made of the prosecutorial system there, that they were held but not charged, and now that they are charged, this changes the jeopardy that they're in. Can you talk a bit about why your heart dropped and what it meant to you when you heard that those charges have been laid?
Well, as I learned later, China has a 99.9% conviction rate. And, I went to trial about 3 months after my formal charge. And so the trial is coming now. There's no way out of that. And very likely they'll be convicted. So, I mean, I didn't know that at the time when I was charged. I assumed I wouldn't be because I was innocent. So, but I just know what happened to me.
So you were detained in China for over 2 years. You were accused of spying and stealing military secrets, similar charges to what the two Michaels are facing. What were your conditions of incarceration like?
I was in the same prison as Michael Spavor is. He's in cell 3.18. Was in 318, 315 he was in. And it was 14 people in my cell, lights on 24/7. Guards, food comes through the door in into a bucket, and you just eat from that. Never left the cell except for consular visits, which unfortunately they're not having right now. And that was only once a month for 30 minutes. Not nice conditions. Only let outside occasionally. It's supposed to be every day, twice a day, but that didn't happen.
So when you go ahead, yeah.
Sorry. I was just gonna say it was not very nice conditions at all.
So when you say 14 people in a cell, how big is the cell that we're talking about here?
Cell is about 12 to 14 paces by 5.5 wide. So basically the beds are basically touching each other for the most part. There's a little space for a bathroom, which serves as your laundry room as well, and a little place for, to keep bowls and stuff, for a kind of a kitchen, but not a kitchen, just to keep bowls in. So very little space. There's just an aisle between the cots, the wooden cots, and you can, it's hard for two people to pass in the aisle because it's just not very big.
And that sort of containment must have been obviously loneliness, fear, but was there an element of boredom there? I mean, were there people you could speak to at all, or what sort of materials did you have?
I was fortunate to have books from the embassy. They would, during the consular visits, they would bring books and things every month. And I could talk to the other inmates. That was not a problem. I learned, all sorts about their crimes and things like that, things that they committed or didn't commit. And so that was a positive, but it was still incredibly boring in many ways. There was nothing to do. If you're in another cell, I happen to be in the medical wing, so there's only 14 in my cell, but another cell, a normal cell would have up to 28 in the same size cell. So you're just, when you sleep, you're very, very close to the next person, basically touching the next person.
If you had a chance to speak to either of the two Michaels, what would your advice be?
I just would hold on. For me, it was holding on to my faith, praying every day. But my heart breaks for them because I just know it's incredibly, incredibly difficult. And every day I had to get up and just say, I'm holding on to that hope, to that faith again. And it didn't change the situation, but it helped me to go on. So I would say you hold on to that hope. And, our book really details all that, the anguish we went through, the pain, both physical and mental. And I made it through, that's what I can say. Mm-hmm.
Did you have any relationship with the guards, with the prison authorities?
Yeah, generally the guards were nice. Unless you got out of line, the guards were generally nice. There wasn't any issue. I did see some times when the guards weren't nice, but that's because prisoners got out of hand. There was fighting or there was something like that, and then they were guards. They did their job. But the prison warden was kind, and I saw her not just kind to me, but kind to others as well, but within the limits of what she could do.
We don't know how long the two Michaels will be held in prison, but looking back on the experience, did it have any long-lasting effects on you?
Of course. You can't help but go through that kind of high pressure, high tension for 2 years and not have lasting effects. Not so much physical, but of course, there's triggers that think, oh no, is this happening again, or something like that. And when I hear, especially about the two Michaels going through this, it brings back memories of what I was going through during those months, not knowing that the hardest thing was just not knowing anything. I was only given 3 days notice for my trial, and they'll probably have the same, very similar, to give very little notice, because that's the law, that's the legal way it's done in China. And so the not knowing is really the hardest, because you imagine too many things.
Do you still have dreams, nightmares?
No, I've never had dreams, never had nightmares, and thank God for that. But I do have memories, and they can be triggered by different things, for sure.
The family and friends of the two Michaels, knowing what you know, having gone through what they're going through now, what would your advice be to them?
You hold on to that hope that is very difficult to hold on to. My family had people around them to encourage them. In prison, I only had that once a month visit from the embassy, and that news was huge to me. It kept me going. But for the family, they just hold on to that the system will work. That Canada will keep pushing for their release, and China will hopefully do that, because that's the only hope, is to hold on to that truth that it can happen. Things do change. When I was released, it was sudden. Even the government didn't expect it.